they all seem to be knowledgeable in some first aid. So I figured they would be able to do as I asked, because it might be at least an hour before we had an ambulance on the scene.
All right.
I was just encouraging him, but I knew that he was worried about his wife, Nancy, and he was worried about what was going to happen to his life, because an accident like this, you know, could change a person's life forever.
Nice and slow, guy, so I'm going to keep him level.
The sooner that he can get treatment in a hospital, the better off he'll be.
Damn, the big boy.
When the Blackwell Volunteer Rescue Unit, including EMT Marsha Harris, reached the ranch, they had to drive the ambulance cross-country to get near the scene.
We had to leave the road and just go out into pasture. We drug bottom going through and didn't know if we'd be able to get out there or not. Once we get more people in the back of that ambulance.
Careful of rocks, slippery.
I looked up and couldn't believe that the ambulance was pulling in there. I don't know how they ever got that thing back in there, but everything was working out to Stan's favor.
Put him down right over here, guys.
Fire Chief Will Lenore took charge of Stan's care.
I knew that someone in this group had some medical training by looking at the way they had him packaged. I had a lot of admiration for what these guys had done. He had the tingling sensation in the fingers, and forefingers on the other hand that were hurting him very bad. But observing the fingers, there was no injury. Signs that he very well did have serious injuries to the neck. I'll get this back. We've got a patient that has feeling in all four extremities. He's moving all four extremities. But one wrong move, and you've got a patient with a lifetime of immobility or immortality.
44-year-old Stan Kent was taken to the emergency department of Shannon Medical Center and put under the care of neurosurgeon Robert LeGrand, Jr.
Another good hard squeeze here on the right side. Let's see the next one. And the next one.
There's 7 vertebrae in the neck, and the first 2 were fractured, and there was a slight dislocation in the second one.
No question about it. And there's that.
An injury to that location can cause death because it can cut off breathing, it can cut off the heartbeat, and it can cause total paralysis.
Fracture going all the way through the pedicles in the body.
Stan could have died if he had not been treated appropriately at the scene of the accident.
A friend drove Nancy to the hospital to be with her husband as soon as she was notified of the accident.
I didn't know if I'd find him all torn up or what it was that was wrong, but I figured, knowing Stan, it was probably something fairly serious.
Stan?
Yeah.
I'm here. How are you?
Did they tell you what I did?
No, other than fell off your bike.
Oh, I broke my neck.
He was in the best hands he could be in. He was able to move his fingers and his toes, and so I knew there was really no major neurological damage to him. And then I was also a little bit angry with him because I'd been warning him frequently about how dangerous it was and to be careful.
I really messed up this time.
Yeah. I'll work with it. It'll be all right.
His bike helmet sustained considerable damage, and it was quite obvious to me that it prevented a more serious head injury, and I think it prevented a more serious spinal and spinal cord injury.
This thing's just going to take some getting used to, I can see that.
The halo was an adjustment. I had to learn to walk again. You feel top heavy, you're afraid to stand up, you're afraid to walk around, and it was hard to learn that I will not be able to run or bike for 6 months to a year from the time the accident happened.
In the 5 months since the incident, Stan has been slowly healing.
He doesn't take any risks now because he realizes how serious it is.
How did he get these spots on his neck?
He's playing with the boys out in the pasture, playing rough.
I had never been down that trail before, and I didn't know what to expect. I should have stopped and got off and walked down the hill. I needed to ease into mountain biking, and I went a little too fast.
Up straight, shoulders back.
What saved him was having the right people there who knew what to do and the right circumstances. A friend of mine said he is the most unlucky, lucky person she's ever met.
He looks good.
Everybody that was there on that day was a hero. It probably didn't look real serious, but everybody assumed it was, and that saved my life. I lived through this accident. Years ago, I had a type of pneumonia that's been nicknamed Legionnaire's disease, and I lived through that. So I feel lucky and I feel fortunate. If cats have 9 lives, I've already used up 2 of mine.